This is Leaders in the Trenches, and your host today is Gene Hammett.
Hi, this is Gene Hammett. I'm the host of Leaders in the Trenches. My question for you today is, how do you push past your mental barriers? You know, those mental barriers that cause you to stop. Maybe it's something where you're fearing what's on the other side, or maybe it's just something where you think, I don't know if I can handle this. Maybe I'll just hold back. Well, when I think about pushing past the mental barriers in my life, I've seen so much growth of not only myself, but also in my ability to engage others to come along with me. So I have a team, and I want to engage them to have courage and confidence to do the hard things inside of our business and not to avoid them. And you've got to be able to push past the mental barriers. So I went up to figure out who would I talk about this. Joe Sena is someone you may not know the name, but you probably have heard of the Spartan races. The Spartan obstacle races are phenomenal. Like, I did this for years, and I really enjoyed it. I would probably still doing it, but I'm focused on my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and really getting that tuned in. But these Spartan races are just amazing to push past mental barriers. Why? Because you're running 3 or 4 miles, which is not that bad, but you're doing about 20 or 25 obstacles in the course of that time period. And that alone is something that will push you to your limits and challenge everything you've got, because you're going to want to quit, but you won't, because others are around you. And if you do it with a team, or if you do it with your work environment, it really will help you create more connection together, and doing hard things really will change the way you do this. Joe shares some of the insights behind how he sees the world and why you want to hire people that are willing to have the energy as a go-giver. I really love that he talked about, people who give energy to a situation and not just take energy. And so inside this interview with Joe, we talk about some of those details. So tune in right now to the interview with Joe Sena. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you here at Leaders in the Trenches. Joe, I've already let our audience know a little bit about you. So I'd love for them to hear it in your own words. So tell them about you and who you serve.
Yeah. So basically, the hero for us is our customer, right? They transform when they come out and do a Spartan race. So once they crawl under barbed wire, climb over walls, jump over fire, they begin to become the best version of themselves. So we're in 42 countries, 275 events, and we are literally ripping people off the couch and transforming them.
Well, I know my first Spartan race was probably about 5 years ago, and it really challenged everything I had. I was very nervous doing it. Some friends were doing it, and I wanted to compete with them. But just showing up and finishing the race was a huge accomplishment. And I got hooked, and I did it for 3 or 4 years straight.
Every cell in your body got called to action.
Yeah.
We got to get you back out there. We got to fix your shoulders and your knees.
Yeah.
And get you back out on the course, because, a Spartan never quits.
I'm not quitting. I focus on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right now, trying to get to that next level and staying healthy there. Joe, I was looking into some of the things that you believe. I've had the Audible book, I guess, a couple of years ago, so I'm excited to talk to you today about some of those things. But as business owners, we're always pushing forth and really trying to grow ourselves as well as grow our business. When you think about growing yourself as a business owner, why is that so important?
I think when you're building a business, you're dealing with an environment that's always changing. And so in order to adapt to that change, you've got to grow as a person. If you stick, same with the organization, if you stick to the way things were or the way you think things should be, you're not going to be very successful. When I first went to Wall Street, I remember seeing very quickly that the business didn't make any sense to me. There was a better way to do it. And surprisingly, all the people I spoke to about what I thought didn't make sense, they weren't accepting it, because they wouldn't grow as individuals, and they wouldn't take a step outside of the norm and view a different way to do things. Ultimately, I left and started my own business, which worked really well for all the reasons I noticed. And so I think we all have a tendency to kind of stay in our little comfortable bubble and not want to get outside of it and not want to grow and try new things. And I think that could be a death sentence. I don't know if I answered the question well, but that's the way.
It's totally a death sentence. You may not recognize this book. This is my proof, but I wrote this book a couple of years ago, The Trap of Success, and it really is about being complacent and not growing. So it is something that runs through me. When you think about, before you started the Spartan movement, if you will, what were some of the things that were keeping you from actually starting it?
Commitment. Once I commit, I'm all in. And did I want to be dealing with another thing in my life? Was it going to work? So probably some fear. Did I want to risk capital? Yeah. And so, but I have a philosophy in life that I operate under, which is fire, ready, aim. Because I think if I sat around and was focused on aiming, I probably wouldn't do a lot of the stuff I do. I'd get paralysis through analysis. So I fire. I mean, I think all those things were holding me back for about 12 seconds. And then I went for it, and I quickly become pregnant. And then you're on the hook, and then you got to make it work. This week I'm loving the discussion of Caesar and this idea of burning the boats while they were in there trying to attack the Vikings so that they didn't have an escape plan. And I'm a big believer in burning the boats.
Well, I am too. I've seen those places in life where I've committed myself, whether it be a Spartan race or even something inside the business. Something changes when you know that there's no turning back. Like I signed a hotel deal recently for an event I'm hosting, and they told me the refund rate was 90%, meaning there's no refund rate if you're in all the way. And so I committed to the rooms, committed to the whole experience, and I'm all in. You have probably seen that benefit you in many ways in life. Where does that commitment? Where do you take it from there once you have commitment to keep going?
Well, so for me, first thing is commit, fire, ready, aim. Second thing is now you've got to start not wasting any time. Everything you do has to be focused on hitting that target. You are now, or should be, you specifically should be thinking all day, every day, how do you fill those rooms? How do you get those people to that event at that hotel? Otherwise, you're not getting your money back. And that's not fun, by the way. I mean, now it's serious. Now the rubber meets the road. And so it's more comfortable to not have made that commitment. But once you do, and I've done it enough times, you've probably done it enough times, now you're all in. And so everything you do, everything you think about, if you want to be successful and fill those rooms, is things that will achieve that goal. Will hit short-term, medium-term, long-term targets. So you're delaying gratification. You're not hanging out with the boys on Friday night, drinking beer, watching football. Like everything you do is to achieve that goal.
I totally agree. And something has shifted in me lately because this is so important to me. I was watching a video that you recently did with Gary Vaynerchuk, and you talked about the power of being super focused. When you were, getting the Spartan race up and going, there was probably a lot of things going on, but were you able to be super focused in order to make that work?
Yeah, I'm pretty focused. I just as you're going to be focused with this event, I subscribe to this idea, will it make the boat go faster? It's a great blog you could look up or listeners could check out. I think it was the 2000 Olympics. They were attempting to win gold. It was an eight-man crew team. No way they were going to win gold. They just weren't good enough. The coach said, listen, every decision we make, we're going to ask ourselves, will it make the boat go faster? And so they became really focused, to your point, on only doing things that make the boat go faster. Hey guys, great day today. Let's go grab some Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Won't make the boat go faster. We're not doing it. Hey guys, great week. Let's go hang out with girls this week. Won't make the boat go faster. We're not doing it. So I'm pretty focused on the stuff that will make the boat go fast. Whatever that thing is and so Spartan is all me, all day, every day. And that doesn't make me necessarily a fun person to hang out with at all times. I'm not because I'm not shooting the shit or, you know, my wife says, hey, you're a lot of fun for about 3 days. Everybody thinks you're so cool, but like, no, because I don't, you know, stop and smell the roses. Well, who's fertilizing the roses? Who's watering the roses? Who's trimming the roses? Right? Not to sound like a crazy person, but that's the way I look at life.
I want to talk about this and break it up into two pieces. So I want to finish with what we're talking about is really this journey of self-growth. I see what you're saying, and I know that for sure, but I also know that I really enjoy downtime. Do you take a moment to recharge? And if so, how do you do that?
So I do best recharging when I've completely depleted myself. So I don't stop. If the furthest we could go, the fastest we could go is 100 miles an hour, I don't stop at 70 to reset. I go to 105 and then collapse, feel recharged, and have at it again. Here's my feeling on that is, you know, 500 years ago, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, we had pretty tough lives. Like imagine being in the Lewis and Clark expedition. Like, it's pretty tough, right? And I'm an aggressive person. I work out a lot. And even me, when I look at my tracker and I see how many hours a day I'm idle, it's like 7+ hours. And I'm active. I'm not the norm. And so what are you asking me to, not you, what are you asking me to relax from, to recharge from? Like, I'm already like idle 7 hours a day. Okay, I did a podcast. I wasn't wrestling a lion. I dealt with payroll. I wasn't like in a horse and carriage climbing a mountain in the snow in Colorado. Like, downtime, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yes, of course you take downtime, but I'm taking downtime when I'm nearly dead.
When you think about the impact that Spartan has had on people at a personal level, I've seen some amazing things. I think I saw a guy with no legs. I don't think he even had hands. He was just kind of moving himself. I passed him at one point in time on the race. He had some support team around him, but I know he finished the race. Just give us one of the stories that really inspires you about the transformation of a person pushing beyond those mental barriers.
I mean, when you see the adaptive athletes out there missing arms and legs, or people with issues, or heavy overweight, like, you have to just thank God that we get to do this. I mean, we're completely able, but like, it's just unbelievable. And so there's nothing to complain about anymore. And remember, we have 1.3 million people a year going through the system. So like, there's 10,000 people like that are like awe-inspired. Let me show you a book. Hang on. This is my buddy Casey, right? 2 arms, no legs. Does the world championship in Tahoe, comes across 14 hours into it. I stop and see him. It's cold, by the way. I'm standing at the finish line waiting for him. I'm a little cold. I've been waiting there 30 minutes. Where the hell is he? He comes across, no legs, looks at me and he says, Joe, is that all you got? Because that didn't break me. Give me something tough. And so, yeah, I get chills, just thinking about those stories, because what do we have to complain about? That's what I'm saying. Like, of course, everybody needs to recharge, but like, not that bad.
Well, I want to switch gears here because you've built a team of probably phenomenal people, and I'm wondering what you know about selecting the right people for your team, running by core values. What are some of the principles of growth and leadership that you aspire to?
Well, so we are not perfect, by no means perfect at anything. We make mistakes. I would subscribe to enthusiasm, resiliency, just get it doneness over domain expertise all day, every day. I want people that are just animals, that just chew up challenges every morning and spit them out. And you take a person like that, you could teach them anything. Think about the waiter or the waitress or the taxi driver, whoever, that just has energy. They're energy givers. They're just getting after it all day, every day. Those are the people I want. Problem is, the world is not filled with those kind of people. So you got to go through a lot of people to find those energy givers, those people that just suck up life. That answer that well or no?
What have you learned to identify them though? Because you don't just like give everybody a shot. You're actually interviewing them and qualifying them. How do you find someone who's an energy giver inside the organization?
It's tough. Very, very, very hard to do. I mean, we have a couple of silly things here at the office. We have an elevator when you first come in, and then there's stairs right next to the elevator. Who took the stairs? Who took, it's four floors up or 5 floors up, depending on the floor you're coming to, or 6 floors. Somebody taking the elevator? Probably not our person. As silly as that sounds. What do they drink? Do they want, are they carrying a soda? Or are they like, so what's their health and wellness routine? And then you could poke around in interviews, even though people are, hang on one second. Even though people are, they're trying to be their best self, and they're maybe masking some things during an interview, but then you get them to a race. We get them out there racing, and somebody not willing to do a race, again, look at Casey, no legs, he's doing it like anybody could do this. So yeah, are they resilient? Are they gritty? Are they full of energy, enthusiastic? Not everybody is, but those are people we want. That's
definitely, you're looking at the culture fit there, because those are markers of what you believe makes great people. And you had mentioned in there, I just want to come back to it, the experience of it. Like if you were hiring a marketing person, I mean, obviously that's important, but you can probably teach them that stuff, but you can't teach them to be an energy giver.
I agree 100%. I agree. Like I didn't know anything about Wall Street. I was cleaning pools, but I am full of energy. And so I went there and I conquered that. I didn't know anything about cleaning pools, but I am full of energy. So they taught me that and I conquered that. I don't know anything about running a global brand, right? But I'm full of energy. So I figured this out. And so I don't know very much. I'm not that smart, but yeah, I'm resilient, relentless, and I'm always full of energy.
Well, you've seen a lot of different organizations and team building exercises. You even have some special events that bring in more team focus. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. We've got a hurricane heat. We've got leadership conferences we do at a bunch of our events. I should connect you actually with that group. And the idea is, it drives me crazy that people are not functioning at their best self, but it also drives me crazy that companies are not functioning at their best. And look, it's very hard to run a business. I run them, and you run them too. But if you can get people working together, like the quickest way I have found over decades to 10x your business, quickest way, not self-serving, I'm just telling you reality. You take your people and you do hard things together with them, and you do that with your customers too, or wannabe customers. You do hard things with them, Spartan races, marathon, whatever the things are, yoga. You build bonds that are unbreakable. You can't do that at dinner or lunch or having a speaker. It's just not the same. You got to do hard things together.
When you think about like, where do you take this next? Is there something that you haven't accomplished yet that you hope that you're going to bring into this whole movement of obstacle racing?
I want to get, people have to eat. So I'm real focused on nutrition. They've got to train well. I'm really focused on training. We've got a merchandise business. We're focused on businesses with our leadership programs. And my personal dream, silly one, is I want to create a full featured movie. But I got time for that. But yeah, if I could build a sustainable business that's doing good for the world and doesn't need me here every day, I'm thrilled. And then I'd love to go to Hollywood and make a movie.
Well, thanks for being here at Leaders in the Trenches, Joe. Where can our audience get more about you if they're interested?
Anybody could email me anytime, joe@spartan.com. I answer my emails. You could go to Spartan Podcast. You could read books. I give you free entries if you don't have the funds. or you could meet me in Africa next week. We're going to be in Namibia.
It's all right. Well, this won't come out for a while, but I really appreciate you being here, sharing some of your perspectives of what it takes to succeed in this world, which is to grow, to continue growing, to have grit, and to really show up with the energy to give, not just to be taking. So I really appreciate your insight here.
You're awesome. Thanks so much.
Wow, fantastic. Love the way he really talked about what he looks for in employees and what he really does from a standpoint of really tuning into who they are, not just the skills that they have, because all those skills can be developed when someone has the right attitude, the mental focus. So this was all about kind of pushing past mental barriers. So really appreciate you tuning in here to Leaders in the Trenches. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.